Hey, so in this video, I'm going to talk about a really important piece of buying a small business, and that is working capital. So oftentimes, if you're thinking about buying a small business, you might be thinking, all I need to come up with is the purchase price. If the business is for sale for $1 million, I need to come up with $1 million. You're not thinking about how much cash you need to just operate the business on a month-to-month basis. And this kind of buffer, this cash that you need just to operate, is your working capital. And it can, if you don't think about this at the very beginning of the process, you're gonna end up getting close to the closing table, or hopefully not actually at the closing table, and realize, how am I gonna pay payroll next week when I take over the business? You don't want to end up there, right? So what we need to be able to do is calculate how much working capital this business that you're looking to buy is going to end up needing. And there's some ways that we can estimate and project how much working capital business is going to need. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Just a little bit of background on me. I'm the co-founder of ProjectionHub. We help founders create financial projections for potential investors and lenders. And I specifically here have our acquisition financial projection template pulled up. I'm going to put a link to that in the description of the video below, so you can go grab that link, click that link, grab the template, and create your own projections for an acquisition. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and show you how we would calculate how much working capital a business is going to need using this template. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over to this input assumptions tab. And so let's say we've got this business, we're going to buy it on January 1st, and it's a purchase price of $1 million. And so the assumptions around how much working capital you're going to need really have to do with this table here. So it's how much accounts receivable will the business have when you take over. And so this would be, sometimes when you buy a business, they may leave you with the accounts receivable. So that would mean that, on day one, you might have customers continue to pay what they owe the business, and that would just be coming to you as the new owner. But sometimes they might say, nope, everything, all the accounts receivable from sales that we've made prior to the acquisition date, that's all going to go to the seller. And so if that's the case, what you need to do is put 0 here in the accounts receivable balance, because you're not going to receive any of that accounts receivable. And then we need to say, okay, what's the estimated days outstanding? And this is how many days does it take for you to get paid when you provide a product or service? And so let's just say in this example, let's say we sell food wholesale to customers, and let's say we have customers that we have on terms, and so we'll provide the food, then we invoice them, and they have 30 days to pay it. It takes us 30 days to collect. Okay, and then here's an inventory balance number that's going to impact how much working capital you need as well. So here's how much inventory the seller is going to leave you with, so how much do you have on day one, and then how much inventory do you need to carry just in the regular course of business? How much inventory do you need to have on hand as a percentage of sales? So let's say if we put in 25%, that's kind of equivalent to saying we need a week's worth of inventory. There's 4 weeks in a month basically, and you're going to have 25% of inventory kind of on hand at all times. You've got a week's worth of inventory. And then accounts payable, this is on day one, you might have some bills you have to pay. Maybe, day one you take over, you get the rent bill right then, you gotta pay it. So what kind of accounts payable do you have? And then how many days are you gonna have to pay your expenses? So you may not get the same 30-day terms for all of your expenses. Maybe some of your vendors will give you 30-day terms, but some of them certainly not. And so this is kind of your average. How many days is it going to take you to pay your expenses? And so we've got 10 days. So you can already see kind of a problem here. It's going to take you 30 days to get paid, but you got to pay your expenses within 10 days, right? So that gap there, that's going to create a need for working capital. And to determine how much we're going to need, we're going to come to the cash flow statement here. And so if we look at the beginning of the cash flow statement, the first couple months is what we're really interested in. So we're saying, okay, cash at the beginning of the period, because we didn't plan for working capital. We used all our cash to buy the business, and then we had no cash to operate the business. So we had zero cash here. And then our cash from sales in the first month, we only received 1 day's worth. There's 31 days in January. It takes us 30 days to get paid. We only received 1 day's worth of cash from our sales in January, but we had these expenses that we had to pay. So we can see here's our hole. We have $23,000 hole here where of working capital that we need to be able to pay our expenses while we're waiting to get paid. Now we can see in month 2 you're getting paid, but you're really getting paid last month's sales. So just to show you how this can change. Let's say you get paid up front or on delivery for your products or services. Maybe you let customers pay you with a credit card, so they charge a card, and then you're actually going to get the cash in your account within, let's say, 1 day. So we've got a 1 day estimated days sales outstanding here, and that's going to make a big difference on the cash flow statement. Now we still had zero cash at the beginning of the period, but our cash from sales is $43,000, so we're getting almost all of that right up front, and then our cash at the beginning of month 2 is actually positive now. So this makes a huge difference. So you really need to be able to calculate this and know how much working capital your business is going to need. We can also see, just let's say you needed to really keep more inventory on hand. So if we said we need 75% of sales held as inventory, we should be able to see that does impact our cash balance a bit as well. We're going to have to pay more cash out for our inventory. And also, if we said, let's say the seller didn't leave you with any inventory because we had that 10,000 there to start with. So let's say you had to make an inventory purchase right away. Now you can see cash paid for inventory up front. You need a big chunk of inventory up front, again, pulling from your cash balance. So you can see how all these assumptions kind of work together to impact how much working capital you're going to need. So hopefully that's been helpful. If you, again, want to grab this template, you can go down to the description of the video below and click that link, and you'll be able to find also a coupon code to get a discount on this particular template as our thank you for sticking around to the end of the video. So hope you can make use of that. And if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out at support@ProjectionHub.com. Thanks.